project in full is generating growth opportunities for women enterprises and their productivity too. And this project is one of the government of Uganda projects that the government has come up with in order to enable. This project specifically looks at women with that have businesses. So this project aims at enabling these women to access a number of services which the research showed us they require to grow their businesses from the micro level to small scale, and those who are at small scale to medium scale. So we are targeting those two groups, the micro scale and the medium and the small scale. And then the other ones we can access from other projects that are available, but for us we are concentrating on these two. And the reason we are concentrating on these two,
you're concentrating on?
We are concentrating on women that have businesses which are micro. And micro, we are looking at an annual return of 4 million to 10 million. Those ones are the ones that National Planning Authority considers as micro, and those from 10 million to 20 million, that as small. So that is the category we are looking at. And the reason we are targeting this group is that we already have programs that are concentrating at a smaller level, smaller than that. PDM, Emyoga, WEP.
That is the women something?
Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Program, which is at the district, but they concentrate at serving women in groups. So we are looking at this woman who has now become independent and no longer wants to operate under the group arrangement. They want to grow their business. They feel the money they get as a group can no longer satisfy their business to grow. And this woman, the business they are working at must have existed at least for 1 year. The reason is, research shows us that most of the women's businesses do not live to see their first birthday. By the time they make 1 year, they have already abandoned them. It has just wasted my money, let me go to something else. So any woman that has been able to sustain their business up to 1 year means that they are ready to grow this business beyond the micro level.
I want to understand something. So, Emyoga, PDM, women entrepreneurship, youth livelihood, we are in groups.
Yes, they serve them in groups.
So the Grow project is for those women who have graduated from being helped in a group level.
And they want to be
she can stand alone as Nansamba.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Now, there is also another important criteria for that woman. Your business, even though it has existed for 1 year and you can prove it, it must have at least a minimum of 800,000 per month. When we come and value all the commodities that you have in your business, they should add up to 800,000 per month. So when we do that per year, it should come to 10 million. If you're operating with 800,000 per month, in a year, we will see that your operating capital was 10 million. So that's important for us, that women should understand, because some of them might have, their income might be lower than 800 million, maybe 500, 400. The project would serve them, but in a different capacity, maybe in terms of building their capacity, training them, so that they can grow to the 800,000 value per month, and then they can be able to access other services like the Grow loan. You can only access the Grow loan if your value is at 800,000. But the rest of the services, like the training, the skills, you can access them even though your business has not made a year and the value is less than 800,000. There we leave in some leeway because capacity is important.
Before we go to the objectives, this stratification or the categorization of macro and those people that have graduated from our lower level health assistants. Won't it leave out so many other women? 49 million people, where women are the biggest number. If you're only taking out those, won't it leave out so many women that would need this assistance?
So the reason we are leaving out the women, there's so many I might not be able to tell, but the reason we are not taking all of them, I like the way the president explained this when we were in Champazi on Women's Day. He helped the public to appreciate that the money that the government puts at the sub-counties for PDM alone is much higher than what the GROW project can offer. Because the GROW project, maybe I didn't mention from the start, it is funded by the World Bank with a grant. And the grant they gave us had specifics on which woman we should target.
Okay.
Because we didn't want to duplicate what government is already doing with PDM and Myoga and UEP. So we wanted something that stands out, is unique for a category of women that is not being served. We call them the missing gap.
Yeah.
So this missing gap, we have these programs that are supporting the woman. We also have programs like at Uganda Development Bank. There's they offer loans for women that have already grown, their businesses are big and they are ready to take off. So there is this woman who remains in the middle and is not served by any of the existing programs. So World Bank said, okay, we want
She's not at the lower level,
yeah,
not at that high level that can go for so many millions.
Yes. So they asked us, you target that specific woman.
Okay.
Yes.
What are the objectives, the real main objectives?
The main objective.
In a broader sense of the whole country.
In a broader sense.
Of GROW project.
Okay. So the objective of GROW stems from the research that was done. And this research showed us that the growth of micro and small scale businesses for women is affected by a number of issues, not just one, of finance, which most people think. You can give someone money and you will come back after 1 year and you will not see anything. They will be excited, they've started a business, but you come back and the business is no more. So the research was looking at what are those other things that affect businesses not to grow, even when they have money. So these were categorized into 4 different forms. The first one is on skills. So most women are inspired by seeing their peers start some business, do it, and they're like, it's thriving. Maybe this is nang and sovola, and they just go in without understanding the dynamics within that business. Yep. So we decided that we are going to provide them with skills. The other issue that they found out was that women are very good at having groups. Yeah, they work better when they are in groups. And you know, me as a woman, I know I have several groups that I'm in, and so it applies to other women. Okay. Now those groups that they are in are not helping them in terms of business. They are just for social capital and socializing. So we're like, how do we take advantage of the existing groups that women have to bring in the element of business and bring the groups that are business oriented to come together, even if you're in different trades. It could be, some could be in salon, others are in tailoring, others are in catering, but when they come together, there are some lessons that they can learn from each other, mentor each other on the best way to run a business, and so that they learn from each other. There's that level of mentorship and holding each other's hand, and you know, we grow together. So we said, okay, let's have a way of bringing them into a platform where they will be able to support each other and grow strong, because we know women operate better when they are in groups. So that's another area that we focused on. And then we have, of course, the financing. So the financing, we put it into 2 categories. We have the grant, where we will give women money and they will not have to pay it back.
Really?
Yes. So these grants will range from 7 million to around 170 million. But we are looking at women who have started businesses that are very unique. They are innovative. They are venturing into areas which we know are predominantly for men. For example, you find a woman with a construction company, or she's making bricks.
A garage.
Or she has a garage. She's a mechanic.
Yep.
Or she's doing welding.
Actually, this very morning,
yes,
I bypassed a lady who was doing welding.
Now,
and she was working on a very big gate.
Such women, the GROW project is paying special attention to such women, because they have realized that these businesses are the ones that have more profit, although most women have been shying away from them. So if they have taken a bold step and ventured into these businesses, then we support them to be able to grow. So we are going to give them grants, which they will put into their business and grow it. Of course, they will have to have a plan, and we work through that plan, and so that they grow their businesses. The second level of financing that we are giving is on the loans. That one has been around for some time and most people know about it. So we are also providing loans. And the last part of the GROW project, which builds into the goal, is on common user facilities.
Yes.
So common user facilities is the explanation behind it is that women that are doing business, especially those who are in processing, in value addition, not all of them are able to have the required equipment, machines and all that, to buy it, have it, and also do their processing. It would eat so much into their capital. So we are looking at, there are some organizations, especially universities, that have facilities where women can bring raw materials, process them using the facilities that are available, package, and then take out a finished product for marketing.
Okay.
So we are looking at these facilities that are already existing and supporting them to expand so that they are able to take in a bigger number of women that are in this business. For example, if a lady is into baking, but they've been doing it using the local machines and all that. Makerere University of Food and Technology received a grant from the GROW project, and it was the president generously gave these grants on Labor Day to Makerere University, Kawanda, Naro, Rentanga Farm Institute, and about 11 other institutions and organizations that are offering these services. They already offer these services, but at a smaller scale. And the GROW project is coming in to boost them to expand. So a woman could be in baking. So all she needs is to buy her flour, her eggs, her sugar, and whatever that she wants to use, carry them to Makerere University Food and Technology Department, pay a smaller user fee to the department, and they will have access to all the machines. There's already manpower that can help them to do everything they need to do. They walk out with the bread and go and market it when it is good quality. It is already certified by UNBS because the university has the labs to test the quality. It already has UNBS on board to verify your produce.
So it will be my bread, my brand.
It is your bread, your brand, but produced within a common user facility, so it is the best quality.
Okay.
Yes, so that's another area. So in our goal, we are looking at enabling women who are in business to access all these services that I've talked about in order to be able to grow their businesses from micro to small scale, and those which are at small scale to move to the medium scale.
So what other products are there that you're coming in with as a project?
Yes. So as I mentioned, we are looking at skilling, and in skilling we have two types of skilling. One is on soft skilling, which you could call maybe, people sit and you have a facilitator talking to them. These ones, we are calling them essential entrepreneurship skills. For example, looking at how to manage your business, how to manage finances, how to do books of accounts, how do you market your business using your phone. Women are always on phone, on TikTok, just consuming other people's content. But how are you using that phone to market your
own
business? Your own business. So we partnered with Makerere University Business School, and we did a research on women in small and small scale and micro scale women entrepreneurs to find out what are the entrepreneurship skills, what entrepreneurship skills do they require to grow their businesses. So out of that research, we developed 10 modules, and we added one more for the refugee women on how to thrive in business as a refugee. So now we are already piloting these trainings. So far we had around 190 women trained in Nabugabo. And we have now, Makerere University is helping us to move forward with these trainings, but we are also bringing on board Enterprise Uganda to be able to do these trainings for women in business.
Okay.
Secondly, the second form of skills that we're doing is hands-on. We call it work placement training. So here, if I am into bakery, the example I've already used, but I've been doing bakery at a small scale, micro. Now we take you to 2 areas of bread where they are doing production at a larger scale. They know how to market their bread. they have, their bread has a better taste than yours, even the texture. So you go there and learn, what do they do differently from what you do? Here you're doing the practical skilling. So these women and their employees, so this time we are not only looking at women, but even their employees, they could be men, they could be women. We are taking all of them on, so they will go to places where they can learn more. Or the lady you met this morning, welding, we could take her to a bigger welding company, maybe like roofings, so that she goes and sees how do they do their things, and she learns how they do it. So we put out a call and we asked institutions that are able to take on these people and train them to apply. So we go and assess and see, do you have the people who are going to train the people, the teams we are sending to you? Do you have the machines which they will be able to practice on? Because we don't want them to come to your institution and sit down and watch. Yeah. No, we want them to be hands-on and be able to practice. Involved, so do you have the required machines which they can use to learn? So we do this assessment, and once we see that you have what is required, then we bring you on board. And we also asked the women entrepreneurs to apply with their employees, and we received a huge number of applications. So we have already signed contracts with the host institutions. We are now in the process of placing these people who applied to start. We will have both short term, which is like 1 month or 3 weeks training, but we'll also have the apprenticeship type, which will take like six months. Yeah, so we will support these women to get these skills. The second item that we look at is on the women entrepreneurship platforms, which in short we call WEPs. So here we are bringing women that are in groups. They are already having their small associations, whichever association it is, but as long as that association is for women in business. So we bring them together in an umbrella at the district, so that they'll be having regular mentorship trainings. We bring trainers, we bring mentors to speak to them, we bring business people that are already much higher at their level to talk to them. Share experience. We bring teams from URSB to help them register. We bring teams from URA to help them understand how to run their businesses without falling into trouble with them. So these WEPs, we have partnered with an organization called Uganda Women Entrepreneurs Organization. It is already a platform that had already started and bringing women in business together. So they are helping us to spread in the whole of Western, Central, and Eastern Uganda. And we are in final stages of bringing on board another partner that will help us handle the northern part. And then the third thing that we are looking at is on access to finance. I had explained about it. We have both grants and loans. The loans, we are giving them through commercial banks currently, and so we have Centenary Bank, we have Post Bank, Finance Trust Bank, BFCU Bank, Equity Bank, and now we have brought on board Stanbic Bank. Okay. Yes. How many districts have you reached? What's the coverage like for now? The coverage of GROW is the whole country. You're already there. Every district, every municipality, every city, we are there. And we have focal persons, like the focal point persons that you can go to and get information about to grow in each of these places. So, you know, when you talk about a project like this, everyone's mind runs to the money. Yes. Capital. Yes. How does one qualify? You have mentioned a lot of steps, but now if I have gone through all this and gotten all the information, how do I access the money? Do I need to have an account in the bank? Is it only in the bank? Or can I pick it somewhere and things like that? How does one access the money? So accessing the money, or even the growth services in general, the qualification criteria that I talked about at the start applies to all. First of all, you must be a woman. Secondly, you must have a business. Yes. Thirdly, your business must have been in existence for at least 1 year, and you should be able to prove it because you pay for trading license, you probably pay for URA or the local tax where you're operating from. So you should have that documentation to show that you have been operating for at least 1 year. Thirdly, you must have an operating capital of 10 million per year, which translates to around 800,000 per month. So meaning you should have books of accounts to show that you have been entering your expenditure, your profits, or what.
Bookkeeping.
Yes, bookkeeping, so that we are able to see this month you operated with this much, the next month you operated with this much. So the minimally, every month you should operate with 800,000. Then it comes down to now the grow loan women. So the banks that we gave the money that I mentioned earlier, all the loans are at 10%. We have capped it. Initially, some banks were giving 10.5, but now all of them don't go beyond 10%. But for you to access these loans, so the banks have they have their own requirements. First of all, you must have an account with them. It doesn't matter if you have just opened it, because we also found out from our research that most women, some of them that are in business, didn't even have bank accounts. Mobile money took over almost. Most of them just use their mobile money, and so
to run different transactions.
Yeah, to run transactions, and they don't go to the banks. So, but you must have a bank account to be able to get a loan. But even if you just open it, it is okay, because we negotiated that with the banks, and it is allowed. You can just open an account and then access the grow loan. Okay. Then the rest of the things, the banks will take you through their requirements. But as long as you have those I have mentioned, then you just need to have collateral, and you will access the finances in the banks.
Oh.
Yes.
For grow project loans.
Yes.
One needs to have a collateral.
You must have collateral.
How big?
Well, that one now the bank will determine, depending on how much money you want.
Okay.
Because for us, we give loans from 4 million to 200 million. So depending on how much you want, you will negotiate with the bank, and they will look at the collateral you have, they value it, or even if you're using the shuttle items like house items, or you have a salon, they come and value your items in the salon, or you have a restaurant, they value the things in your restaurant.
So with
but
grow
what
money,
you have is what will determine the amount of money that the bank can offer you.
So with grow money,
yes,
you fail to pay, your chair will be taken.
It will be taken, because
I wanted that to come out categorically
yes,
clear.
It will be taken, because from experience as government, as I told you, government has already given out financial support to women to start off in different programs, PDM, Emyoga. I can give an example of Emyoga. You have been seeing stories. People took loan, used the money, disappeared. The group can't trace them.
We had a story here of somebody who took, was it PDM money? He got 700,000 and he bought a new phone.
Imagine. So how do you expect to
those things, somebody can buy a phone to use it for business.
For business, yes. But you must be able to pay back, because the World Bank, the vision of World Bank is that this money should remain in the system. There should be a bag for women in this category that will keep coming and borrowing money. You use it, you bring it back, another person also comes and borrows it. So we want those who have taken money to be able to pay it back. But from the history of government and its people, we are not in position to be able to make our people pay back the money by force. We only rely on those who are good-hearted and they are able to pay back the money they took. But otherwise, the government will not be able to come and sell your land, sell your cow, sell your chairs, because they are recovering money. But we know that banks are professionals in this. You take their money, they will look for you, and you will have to pay it. So we said, okay, since for us we are too kind-hearted, let's allow these people who are professionals to do their work. So we gave the money to them. We only told them, you can't go beyond 10%. And the person should be able to use the money for 2 years, and they pay it back. So for the banks, for us, we are risk-free. We told them, if we have given you two billion to give out, you must pay back to us 2 billion. If anyone refuses to pay and you are unable to recover that money, that loss is on the bank, not on the government. Because World Bank wants at the end of 5 years, the government pocket should have all the money that they allocated us for the loans.
Are there businesses that are exempted from accessing this money and support?
Yes.
And are there people,
Yes.
I am adding to, do we have businesses that don't qualify? And do we have people that don't qualify? Besides men, you see, being a women thing, we know all of
The
us
men.
people with deep voices,
No,
we are
men,
nowhere.
The men benefit by proxy. You
Okay.
know, and your wife benefits, you also benefit.
Okay, actually, that, but not directly.
Not
So,
directly.
are there businesses that don't qualify and people that don't qualify?
Yes.
Can you help us break that down?
So the businesses that don't qualify, let me start from there, are those like businesses that are harmful to the environment and maybe to the health of people.
Okay.
Like, for example, if your business is in selling, let's say, tobacco, this project will not support you because what you're doing is in a way harmful to the health of people. And we know in Uganda we have a law that is against that. So we can't go against the laws of the nation.
Okay.
And secondly, projects that are harmful to the environment. Like, for example, if you're into charcoal selling business, you cannot access our services.
Hey.
Yes, we cannot support you because you're doing harm to the environment.
You're promoting
Yes, you're harming
environmental
the environment.
degradation.
Yes. So we have a list of such businesses on our website. Anyone interested can go check them through, but mainly it must not be harmful to the people and also to the environment. If your business does that, then it cannot be funded. And we have a strict list that we follow, even the banks. They will come and assess you. We call it environmental and social safeguards assessment. The banks, before they give you the money, they will come and assess your business to ensure that it's
Whether
not
it
harmful.
qualifies.
It's not harmful to the public.
Okay.
And then for the people, the people that we do not target, the women that cannot benefit from this business. Of course, as I mentioned, there are some women that don't have businesses. They cannot access the GROW services. There are some that have businesses, but their businesses are still too small to even be qualified as micro.
Okay.
Like someone is still selling things walking on the road, on the street. Those ones cannot access because we can't prove that you have been operating for 1 year. You must be established. At least you have a kiosk somewhere where you're operating from. You have your trading license. And then we are able to tell that you have been here for 1 year or your business has been running for 1 year.
Okay.
So those are the people who don't. Called Invite. It's at you.
Okay.
And there's another one at Uganda Development Bank that give these development funds and also trainings for these kind of categories. So those are the categories that we don't target. We only look at this missing middle woman.
Do you have, are there some special considerations? And who are the people that qualify for them and those that don't?
Okay.
Yes.
So we have, according to the statistics from UBOS and from National Planning Authority, there are some communities which are considered to still be very poor, especially in the region of Bukedi and Karamoja.
Yes.
So those groups have the special consideration when it comes to our services. When you access a GROW loan and you're operating, from that side, then there's what we call a rebate that we give back. So when you get a GROW loan and you pay back faithfully for 6 months, we give you a grant. So if you're from these regions and you're operating you're paying back your loan faithfully, we give you back a grant of 8%. And that is only in those more districts that have not developed that much. The poverty levels are still very high. And then the other groups is for the marginalized communities, like the Iki, if you've been there, the Tipet, these friends of ours in Kisoro, the Batwa. Yes. So those groups, if you're working there, not just being a member of
you may
of
not
that
be one of
community.
them.
You might not be one of them.
But being that you're running a
But
business,
given that, yes, you chose
amongst
to
them,
go and do business amongst them,
yes,
then you qualify for this special support. 8% of grant when you pay your loan faithfully for 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically almost you're taking the loan for no interest.
I've heard the president saying that he solved the riba issue with Muslims when it comes to PDM. How is it with the GROW project?
The GROW project.
In line with Muslim women that may need this money.
Yes. So mentioning that, before I touch on that, I wanted to also mention that we have also a special group called refugees in Uganda. And we know that Uganda has an open policy for refugees.
Yes.
But when it comes to financial support, we know that the government of Uganda budgets do not allocate, like for example, PDM, refugees cannot access PDM. But this project gave a special consideration for refugees and the districts that host refugees. So they are also among those that receive the 8% grant if they pay back faithfully. So when we look at the Muslim community, is still a big question for us. But what we have been trying to talk to them about is the fact that 10%, if you took 10 million shillings, 10% is 1 million. In a year, you pay only 1 million. This money is not really profit, because for us, we don't take profit from the banks. But it is like administration costs. Them coming to you, evaluating you, seeing if you're operating well, if your business qualifies, and all that. So we've been trying to engage them to show them that really in this money there isn't interest. But the question of them taking up what we've been teaching them is still a little slippery. But I know there's engagement with the president. We are trying to see how we can pick a leaf. You know, development projects are different from government projects. Government projects, tomorrow they will present a paper in parliament and it will be revised. But for us, once World Bank has given terms and conditions, you have to operate under those conditions. But of course, as we learn lessons, we go back to them and we tell them, this is the challenge that we have on the table. And we have what we usually call the mid-term review. So we hope that probably by the time we do the mid-term review for the project, we might be able to look deeper into how to bring them on board. But as I mentioned, the GROW loan is just one element out of the 8 services that we offer. So we have been encouraging them to come for the grants, because grants don't have interest attached. They don't have to pay it back. So we've been encouraging them to prepare.
There is something interesting,
something,
let me say, critical. We may be a group of 2-3 women, and we are running a textile kind of business. We are running a restaurant, a chain of restaurants in different towns. Can we come as a group, or this is a target for an individual woman?
This project targets an individual woman. You must come as an individual. The only scenario where we give probably as a group is if it is a company. If you're registered as a limited company, and that company, the biggest number of shareholders are women. If you're 3 and there's 1 woman, that woman must have 51% of shares in that company.
What if we are all women?
If you're all women, very good. So you come as a company, it must be registered as a company, but not a group, not a circle, not what. It must be a limited registered company.
So a circle, a group, a what?
No, we do not.
How do I...
Those ones, we encourage them to go to PDM.
You see, we are running out of minutes, and I want us to look at a number of few things. How do I apply to get to the GROW project?
To apply to...
Yes, I realize, yes, I am a lady, I have a business, it fits on all the things you have mentioned. So how do I now get to you?
Very good. So for you to get to us, you apply. We have on our website, there's an application form for other services, like for training skills, all the skills trainings. There's an application on the website, you apply, or you go to the district, city, or municipality. That focal person has application forms. They help you to apply.
Okay.
But if you want the loan, you go to the banks that I mentioned, and you apply from the banks that I mentioned.
And that brings me to which banks has this money.
Okay, so the banks that have money, as I mentioned, we have Stanbic Bank. We onboarded them recently. We have Equity Bank, we have Centenary Bank, DFCU, Finance Trust Bank, and Post Bank.
Okay.
Yes, so any of their branches, you will
enter and ask for that loan.
Yes.
This one is another critical issue. Most of these programs have been affected by politics. We are moving towards 2026. Won't we look at the centers of Honorable Nansamba, Nansamba Gabudde, Nansamba, you get in the constituencies or even national.
Yes.
Hey, President of Nansamba centers and like that. I'm using Nansamba for a candidate's name.
Yes, yes. So,
and
yes,
we,
that's
or
a very
even
good question.
A politician Nansamba placing herself as if this is her idea and she's giving out money. So people people take this money and think it is money given to us, what walonda.
Yes, yes, yes.
How are you detaching
Grow
project from politics?
That's very good. So as from the design of the project, this was put into perspective that this project will remain independent, not attached to politicians in any way. That's why we said the loans, because this is where the money comes direct to the women. So we said this money is not going to be given out by government because there can be some level of influence. So let it go through the independent banks.
Okay. Because
banks have their systems and you have to meet them to access the money. So we pushed that out of our pocket, of our docket. The grants, which involves giving money. World Bank told us, look for an independent firm like KPMG, like Price House, Water Coopers, those independent firms that handle such kind of businesses, to be the one to handle the selection of these individuals. Because we will advertise, people will apply, then they will come and compete and pitch their businesses. So they said, we don't want you as government to handle this money. Okay. These are the areas that we saw that could be soft spots for politicians to take advantage of. But then, so the rest that remains is just training, capacity building for people, which we know that one is not a soft spot for politicians to ride over. Sure. But also, before 2026 comes, we have already started educating the public. The reason we are here, we are educating the public to understand already what is GROW, who is implementing GROW, how do we access these services, so that by the time the wind of the politics comes in, people are already empowered and no one can take advantage of them.
That is very true.
Yes.
How much advantage, what different platforms have you taken advantage of in terms of disseminating the information, sensitization, and selling the idea? Because there are so many women that may not watch TV as big as UBC.
Yes.
People watch different programs according to where they are.
Where they are.
Social media. How many platforms have you to reach every woman that may fit in?
We are using all platforms available to us. We currently have these adverts like what you're running on UBC are also running in local languages
on other channels,
all radio stations across this country.
Okay.
And they're also running on the local TV stations that are available. So we are trying to use every channel that is available to reach this woman. And we also use social media because we know there are so much these days. There are a lot on TikTok, on well, just a few that are on Twitter, but we know if their children get the information on Twitter, they will relate to them. So we are also engaging these platforms. Okay, my very last one. How have you mitigated banks taking advantage? Because they are working with you as government, but these are business profit chaser entities. How have you mitigated them taking advantage of our women? Very good. Because you have given them a platform that can do business for them. So what we did right from the start, still with guidance from World Bank and agreement with government, we agreed that the money we are going to give to the banks, we are not giving it in all of it at once.
Yes.
Like you bring 1 trillion and give it to Centenary Bank and you say, give it to the women for how many years? That would mean you're just enriching the banks and the money might not reach the women as you expect.
Yep.
So we said, okay, we are going to give you the money in tranches. Or you could call them installments for easy understanding of people. So we give you the first installment. You go give it out using the criteria we gave you. When you finish, you tell us. Then we contracted KPMG to help us go and do audit on the women you gave the money.
Okay.
So once you finish it, we send KPMG, they visit every woman that you gave the money in this country. They see the kind of business they have. Did it meet the criteria by the time you gave them the money? Were they supposed to receive it? Is their business environmentally friendly? Is it harmful to the people or not? Then they come back and write a report to us and they tell us, we found out that all the women that they gave the money qualified for it and their businesses also qualify. If there is any women you gave money that didn't qualify, they will tell us, out of 1 billion you gave to Stanbic Bank, only 900 million went to the right women. The rest went to the wrong women.
Okay.
So now we will tell you, we are not paying you that money which you gave to the wrong women.
Their mistake will cost them.
Their mistake is their problem. So it goes now to the bank money, but not the grow money. So they have to make sure when they are doing the assessments, they make sure that these women meet the criteria that we gave them.
What would be your last message to a woman watching you that may qualify for this money as we wind up?
Okay. So I want to ask the women that qualify, that we've talked about. You have a business, its capital ranges from 800,000 per month, and it's been existing for 1 year, and you know, your business, it doesn't cause any harm to environment and to the people. Please come and access our services. We are not emphasizing access to loans because we know that you can have the money and it will not cause the change that we require from you. So we want you to go for the training. Go get the skills that are required, learn how to manage your businesses, learn how to market your businesses, how to brand it, how to use those phones to make more customers and make more sales. Please come and get trained by Uganda, Makerere University Business School and Enterprise Uganda. They will train you and help you to grow your business. But also the skills, those whose businesses are in the skills sector, please come and apply. We are open on our website. There's an application form, or you go to the district or the division, go and apply. We have started placing women in different places for them to get these skills. And you can negotiate the time you want to be there, the time you want to be trained. You can send me, every day I have 1 hour from 12 to 1. That's the only time I have. And they will agree to that, and then you see how long you can do your training. So please apply and go for these services.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you so
Her
much.
name is Nansamba Odira. She's a communication specialist, Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, GROW Project. That is all we had for you this morning. My name is Michael Jordan Lokomwa. Enjoy the rest of the day and the weekend. Bye-bye.
Are you a woman with a small-scale business with a dream of growing it to another level? The GROW Project is here to support you in realizing your dream.
The GROW Project is a government initiative implemented by the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development and Private Sector Foundation Uganda with support from the World Bank.
We support women-owned businesses across the country to gain hands-on and business management skills through training within your location, business financing through grants and affordable loans, and infrastructure in your areas of operation to enable you to increase your productivity.
If you have a business that makes sales of up to 800,000 Uganda shillings per month, the GROW Project has the tools and resources to help you succeed. For more information, contact your district or city GROW focal person or call our toll-free line on 0800 307 777 to learn more about how you can benefit from the GROW Project's services.
The GROW Project, empowering women economically, transforming communities.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.